Welcome back, everyone. If you love dissecting beep, atmospheric lore, and figuring out exactly how environmental storytelling ticks, well, you've definitely come to the right explainer. Today, we're stepping into a completely dark, totally immersive horror story that has literally captured the imaginations of so many people. We are going to decode the creeping dread and the really terrifying narrative of what we're calling the Whispers of the Ruined City. Let's get right into it. So I want to start by just posing this directly to you. What happens when a city dies but the people refuse to leave? Or, actually, scratch that. Perhaps more accurately, what happens when something refuses to let them leave? This chilling premise right here, it's the psychological foundation of our entire journey today. You know, in truly great horror lore, a setting isn't just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing manifestation of trauma, memory, and just lingering malice. Okay, put yourself in the shoes of the protagonist for just a second here. Imagine you're driving down this pitch-black forest road. Out of nowhere, your headlights catch a stark, rusted warning sign that simply says, "Turn back now." The dense trees around you are practically suffocating the path forward, and right in the center of your view, standing totally motionless in the glow of a single flickering streetlight, is a faint silhouette. This second-person framing just plunges us straight into the nightmare, doesn't it? The lore is telling you, explicitly, that crossing this threshold is a mistake you absolutely cannot undo. And hey, if that first sign somehow wasn't enough for you, the perimeter of the city proper literally screams at you to stay away. Just notice the frantic, bloody warnings scrawled all across these rusted billboards. These definitely aren't municipal signs. These are desperate, frantic messages left behind by previous survivors. The people who actually made it to the edge of the city didn't try to welcome you. They tried to build a psychological wall to keep you out. The sheer volume of blood used to write these warnings, it tells a horrific micro-narrative of complete desperation all on its own. Okay, let's dive right into this next part. To truly understand the horror, we are moving from personal terror into our next major focus, the post-apocalyptic scale. Just look at the massive, desolate skyline of ruined skyscrapers stretching out into the horizon here. Under these dark, incredibly oppressive clouds, the whole city feels like a giant graveyard made of steel and concrete. The pacing of the story just totally slows down here, kind of mimicking the awe-inspiring silent dread of a post-apocalyptic world. There's no power, there's no life. It's really just the skeletal remains of human achievement completely swallowed by an unnatural gloom. It honestly makes you feel incredibly small, doesn't it? Now notice how these sensory details translate into the actual narrative. You've got these wet cobblestones reflecting that unnatural, sickly glow of the street lamps. You can almost feel the dampness in the air, right? The relentless, freezing rain and that creeping fog just rolling through the Gothic architecture. It's so intense. This isn't just bad weather. This is an atmosphere specifically designed to disorient you. The fog completely obscures what's ahead, forcing whoever walks these streets to exist in a state of constant, paranoid anticipation. Which naturally brings us to this profound psychological feeling of isolation. You have a lone wanderer entering the decay, completely dwarfed by the sinking structures around them. As a survivor moves deeper and deeper into these expansive ruins, their vulnerability just skyrockets. Every shattered window becomes a dark eye watching them. There is no backup coming. There's no cavalry. It is just you, the rotting wood, the stagnant water, and the heavy, heavy silence of a dead town. But the lore actually subverts our expectations here. It isn't just about surviving against the elements. It outlines a really fatal, tragic progression for those who wander too far. I kind of like to call these the steps of the cursed. Step 1, you ignore the bloody warnings at the borders. Step 2, you physically enter the dark decay of the city. And step 3, well, you definitely don't find salvation. You find her. To really understand her, we're leaving the expansive open air of the ruined city streets. Let's move indoors into the tight, claustrophobic environments of true nightmare, which brings us to the haunted hallways. Look at this. Standing dead center at the end of a rotting, completely windowless corridor is the woman in white. The delivery of the lore here becomes rapid. It's almost breathless. The environment physically restricts your movement. There is literally nowhere to run left or right. You are forced to look directly at this terrifying, inescapable figure. The peeling wallpaper and the total, absolute absence of light at her back frame her perfectly as the apex predator of this ruined world. And this haunting presence, she stalks you through the most desolate places imaginable. Like right here, where she watches from the abandoned hospital. Notice her haunting silhouette against that pale, barred window. The rusted, empty hospital beds imply a place where healing was once sought, right? But now only suffering remains. It's like she is permanently tethered to these places of pain. She's a silent observer, constantly ensuring you never feel safe, even in the presumed sanctuary of an indoor room. And this brilliantly illustrates the trapped nature of the lore. The space just continues to narrow. We go from the wide city streets to a hospital ward and down into a subterranean nightmare, a bloody underground train tunnel. The tracks just draw your eyes straight to her once again. Below the earth, the darkness is absolute, save for those few flickering industrial lights. The claustrophobia down here is turned up to its absolute maximum. It's like the walls are literally closing in. Then, the environment itself begins to scream at you again. Pulled directly from those bloody tunnel walls is the phrase, "Run, run, run." This is some seriously terrifying environmental storytelling. The tension escalates instantly. The slow, creeping dread we felt on the city streets, it's completely evaporated. If you are down in these tunnels reading this, you are already out of time. The sheer survival instinct of whoever wrote this is practically bleeding right through the screen. Because guys, if you fail to escape her grasp, this is the chilling aftermath. We are looking at a visceral threat fully realized. The blood-soaked mattress, the decayed walls of an asylum room, that horrific face roughly sketched in gore. Wow. The visual tells a complete, unbelievably gruesome story of what happens to the wanderers who let the woman in white catch them. The room itself literally feels infected by the violence that occurred here. But perhaps the absolute most terrifying detail in that room is the phrase painted right on the wall, "I saw you." Just take a second to let that sink in. I saw you. This proves the entity isn't just some obstacle you can sneak past, She is totally omniscient within the borders of this cursed city. No matter which ruined building you hide in, no matter how deep underground you try to crawl, she is watching. The psychological horror really peaks right here. It's that sudden realization that your fate was completely sealed the exact moment you crossed the city limits. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Look at the grim reality of the city's despair. What you should really take away from this explainer is how incredibly effective horror environment design becomes a character all on its own. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. The architecture, the weather, those bloody warnings, the claustrophobic hallways, they all work in perfect, terrifying harmony to reflect total, inescapable despair. The ruined city isn't just someplace the woman in white happens to haunt. The city itself is her weapon. Which leaves us with one final chilling thought to close our explainer today. If you found yourself standing at the very edge of the ruined city, looking at those bloody signs in the dead of night, would you actually heed the warnings and turn back? Or would curiosity just push you forward, dooming you to become just another whisper echoing in those haunted hallways? Thank you so much for joining me to dissect this incredibly dark lore. Keep analyzing, keep exploring, and I'll catch you guys in the next explainer.